right, we're there. I think I got everything arranged in advance, which is a first for me. So yay for having things arranged first. Like, look, check this out. Boom. I didn't have to paste or copy anything. It just works. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. I don't know how many folks are here because I don't have that tab open. There are folks here. Looks like 5 or so people. Awesome. Yeah, I'll just chit chat, catch up for a minute, and then we can move on to the weekend assignment. If you didn't look at the weekend assignment, that's okay. I'm still going to go over it, and I'll be honest. The weekend assignment, I didn't literally plan it. I just literally typed it out. I'm like, that'll work, and then solutions can be wide and varied. I'm just going to go over some of the basic concepts that I would do as I solve the problem. Hello, John Good. How are you? Welcome. Yeah, boy, it's been a week. I'm a grandpa. You probably saw that on the community tab. My first granddaughter was born. Her name is Emmy Rose. She's healthy. My daughter is healthy. They're home now, and we were puppy sitting their puppy while they were in the hospital, and their puppy, it's a COVID puppy. And so, 2 of my daughters got puppies during COVID, and they didn't have a chance to get socialized as well as would have been ideal, because of COVID going on. And so, they're a little reactive. They're a little bit nervous around people and stuff. But I mentioned that to say that, the puppy went back home to my eldest daughter who just had the baby, and it went great. If anything, the puppy's like apprehensive of the baby, but that's about it. It's going to be awesome. I'm really happy and excited for them. I talked about the green hair last week. Still support for my youngest daughter, the solidarity hair. But I have to be honest, I really, really like the green hair a lot. So I might just adopt the whole crazy colored hair thing. I don't know what it'll be. Probably purple would be next. We'll see. Once this grows out and I shave it off, we'll see. But that's like next month, Sean's problem. Right now, we have a problem. Again, it's pretty quick. So I want to give everybody a couple minutes if they wanted to follow along with the weekend assignment. So let's see. I need help with bash syntax. I knew a solution, but stumbled on the syntax. Okay, Scott, I got to be completely honest with you. I have been a system administrator for a long stinking time, over 20 years. And every single time that I create a bash for loop, I still have to Google the syntax because it's just, there's so many different languages, and it's just every single time I need to Google syntax for things like bash for loop and like, okay, I know like the if statement goes in brackets, and then you just got to Google it. So while in an interview, maybe that's not ideal, or if you're taking a test on like scripting, you want to have some of those things, in your short-term memory. But for the long haul, I just Google it. I just Google it every single time because I know what I want to create. I just don't remember syntax. And I don't think that is this gets deeper into the weeds than I intended to first off, but doggone it, here we are. A lot of times interviewers are taught to interview people, and they are not necessarily in the trenches when it comes to what they're interviewing for. And in particular with IT and system administration, a lot of times you don't want to hire somebody who knows like bash for loop syntax. You want to hire someone who can troubleshoot iterating through an IP address, right? And if they need to quickly Google how to do that with a for loop, great, because guess what? That's what they're going to do. That's what I do on a daily basis. So I really like interviewers who kind of understand what makes for a valuable employee. And that is troubleshooting skills. That is solving problems. That is not rote memorization of syntax. So anyway, but I digress. I'll get off my soapbox here. Because again, I too stumble with syntax every single time. Thank you. Congratulations, I assume is on the granddaughter. It's pretty cool. And like I said, she's doing really, really well. So that's exciting. That was weird for me. I mean, I had 3 daughters. I have 3 daughters, but, went through the birthing process for 3 daughters. And while it's stressful and, worrisome, I always had a job, right? Like my job was to do this and take care of this and hold my wife's hand and, say you're doing good and help her breathe and all those sorts of things. When you're a grandparent, especially in like the current like COVID days, like we weren't even in a waiting room. We weren't allowed at the hospital at all. It's just worry. I mean, I couldn't do anything. It was really, really stressful. And that was almost unexpected. And, I didn't expect to be quite as worried because, it's not like with my kids, I was going to solve any problems in the delivery room. Like, oh, what you need is the Murford clamp. No, I mean, that's not what I was doing, but just being there and having a job, I think just kept my brain busy. But anyway, but I digress yet again. It is better when they grow up together. The puppies, I agree. And the puppy is, I say puppy, I guess they're not really puppies. They're a little over a year old. So I mean, they're full dogs, but they're still the puppies in quotes, that's still what I call them. And they're still young. So yeah, they'll grow up together and, I know they're reactive and they're difficult, like introducing to people and other animals and stuff, but I just love my grandpuppies so much. And I'm sure, I love my granddaughter too. I'm not saying that I don't. She doesn't fetch well though. I throw something and she doesn't even look at it. I don't know what that's about. Good morning, Mason. And yes, it is evening and morning and it turns out the world round. Who knew? So yeah, anyway, I guess we should get started, right? I'm sorry. I'm just yammering. It's been about 5 minutes. I'm going to have a sip of. So this is not an advertisement. This is not sponsored by anybody, but I really like bubbly water, like Bubbly Brand or LaCroix. This is a SodaStream bottle, and I got these drops. I don't even know what company they're from, but like flavor drops. You just add to it, so it kind of is like LaCroix. And this is flavored, gummy bear flavored, which is just awesome. If I think Acapella, I think is the name of the company, and the flavor is actually called 27 Bears. There's probably a reason, I don't know, but it tastes like gummy bear water. But I don't like these bottles. I mean, these are the best kind of bottles I could find for the SodaStream, but they're kind of awkward. And I don't know, I might have to figure out a way to rebottle them. And also, I think this one's about ready to explode because the bottom is not flat anymore. It kind of wobbles like it's blowing out on the bottom a little bit. So that's probably not healthy. Anyway, apparently this was sponsored by them. They're just not paying me. Let's talk about the weekend assignment. Now, I'll put let's see. I think this is just a view link. Oh wait, no, I have a short link. I'll paste in the live stream in case you have no clue what I'm talking about. Snarko weekend assignment 1. So that's just a link to my next cloud office. It's just a markup file with the assignment, so to speak. And basically we're looking at, here. No, yeah, it's the same computer. Please stand by. We're going to switch. All right. See, I'm ready, but if we take this, they have so many. Okay. Oh, look at that. It's like it was planned out. So basically, that's too small. Can I bigify it? Yeah. This is just a little CSV file that I made, and it's just nonsense. But basically, the job was this line. There's like a Portugal branch, and I wanted everybody to extract this data from. Oh, we're down here now. I wanted to extract this data from the file and then ping through all the possible IP address iterations with that defined subnet. Now, if you're not familiar with subnetting, that's my bad, but I did kind of say in the notes down here. Basically, we want to ping 10.155.0.1, 10.155.0.2, all the way to 10.155.255.255, right? So we want to ping all, 64,000 or so addresses. And you may see an upcoming problem right away. But that was the assignment. Let me get this back out of the way. Over here. All right. Everybody with me so far? Did I lose everybody? Basically, what I would do is narrow down the problem so that I can get the data out that I want. And what I have here, if we look, I've never done this. So the reason, oh my gosh. Sean, you said you were so ready. So the reason that I use this headset microphone when I actually make training videos is because I really like the sound of this microphone a lot. However, if I go down here and I start typing, you see the problem, right? It's too far. Anyway, so I'm going to try to make it work one way or another. Maybe next time I'll just wear the headset mic. I just really like the way this mic sounds. So, all right. Oh, Mason. I'll miss the assignment. That's all right. No worries. We're going to go over it right now anyway. So I have that CSV file right here, and I'm just going to cat it to the screen so we can look at the file together and what it contains. And basically, I just had like the top line saying what the fields were, but really we know we just need this line down here defining the Portugal office. And what we need to get out of there is the IP subnet range. And so the first thing I would do, first I'm going to just on the, dang, I always forget the camera. I'm going to just get that line out of there. And so for that, I would do like just grep-i for case insensitive Portugal from report.csv, and that's going to give me back that line. All right. So I'm like, all right, I've already narrowed it down to just the line that I need to get that information from. And what I would do is then I would use awk because it's a comma separated field. And so I would do that same thing, but then I would use the pipe command to put that output and then pipe it into standard input of awk and -f. If you haven't watched my my latest video where I talk about awk, I mean, this is going to be like, whoa, this is complicated. It's not too bad. But anyway, we have to tell it what field delimiter, because by default, what does awk use? I heard you all say it. So good. Space. And we don't want it spaces. We want a comma. So -F comma for the comma as the space delimiter, or as the field delimiter. And then I'm going to say single quotes, open brackets, print, $. Let's see. Portugal, Amadora, West, Cisco. So 5. 5. Close that. I don't know if Lewis is here, but I probably said Amadora wrong. Oh, Lewis. Okay. So I thought of you, buddy. But this, is that real? Okay, no. Oh, I was looking at the wrong camera. Is that really your home city? Is Amadora really your home city? Because that would be stinking amazing if so. I literally just guessed. Anyway, and then I need to do the single quote to close that off. And that should give us just the subnet. Sure enough, there we go. All right, so yeah, if y'all didn't see this, Lewis is a friend of mine from Portugal, and I didn't know what his home city was, but this is just a Portuguese city that I happened to pick, and sure enough, it's his home city. That is an awesome coincidence. Anyway, so this is how I would get the subnet range. Okay, that's how I would get it up. But let's make a script, because I'm not just going to pipe everything on the command line. I'm just kind of going over how I would solve this problem as I'm going along. I would, and probably the first couple times I would do a poor job and I wouldn't quite get what I wanted. But in this case, it was pretty simple. And so let's make a script. We're going to call the script, I gotta get down to this screen. Let's see. We're going to VI, we're going to call it awesome, because that feels very American. A friend of mine who lives in in the UK said that Americans say awesome all the time, and that's not something that they generally do over there. So there is one bad thing. I'm going to try this. I can't see comments that people are making. I'm going to try to just put that right there so that I can see people. Yeah, so Northern Chimp, I'll just tell you really quick. There's a weekend assignment. If you scroll up, I think you can scroll up in the live comments here. There's a link to a weekend assignment. Basically, we need to ping all the addresses in that IP subnet that is in the Portugal line on the screen right there. That's what we're doing. I'm just off the cuff going to make a script real quick. So I don't know. The whole weekend assignment thing is just something we kind of dreamt up during last week's live stream. So anyway, I'm going to start my, I don't know if I'm in the right window. Yeah. I'm going to start my script with that. Let's assign that IP range to a variable. So let's call it net equals, and then to get that information, I'm going to do, I did grep -I, Portugal. And then I'm going to pipe that into awk dash capital F comma, because it's comma separated line. And then print, and it was the fifth field. And that means that net, the variable net, will now be that whole what is subnet, right? But we need to iterate through. So since it's a 16-bit subnet, now I did say in the notes, so we don't have to like calculate based on the CIDR notation of the subnet. Just we need to iterate through those first two fields. And the /16 was kind of to throw people off a little bit, but really we don't even need to touch that part because we need to iterate through the first two octets. So all we need to do is do something like, not fire, first. So I'm going to set the first octet variable to, and never learned the top row myself, so. All right, and now we're going to use awk again, but here's something that's a little bit weird for awk, and maybe somebody knows something I don't about it, but so awk by default will read from a file. Like if you, if that's the last argument for your awk thing, it will read from a file. I don't know of a really easy way to get it to read a variable in. I mean, it can use variables internally, but I mean to like in bash, like I want to have it manipulate the net variable that we just set. I don't know of a great way to do that. So this is what I do, and there might be a better way, but this is what I do. I just do echo net and then pipe that into the awk command, right? And so in this case, awk, and now our field separator is different. What is our field separator in the IP address? It's just going to be a dot, right? Again, 10 dot. If we look over, see, we can always look, that's why I had this window open, so we can look over here. I'm going to highlight this so we can see what we're working with. So that's what we're working with. That's the contents of the net variable. So the field delimiter is period, and I'm going to do this, print $1, because that should assign that first octet to the first variable name. Let's see. Anthony asks, let's see. Wouldn't the net variable need a closing parentheses? Oh no, this is all part of it. It's going to get a closing parentheses right now. It's the whole thing, right? So what I want to do is this entire thing is what I want to assign to the variable first. And yeah, there we go. And yeah, so I'm piping that there. I just hadn't closed off the whole declaration there yet. And then let's do second the exact same way. I know you're probably a little disappointed, right? This is a lot easier than you were expecting. You were expecting me to craft some amazing script, but it's pretty much just grunting through it. awk-f period again, but this time we're going to do print $2. Now, of course, if I do something wrong along here, we'll also learn troubleshooting skills in this live stream. But anyway, so this should give us first and second octet as variables. And now, I mean, so this is a live stream. We have time. So this is what I would actually do. I wouldn't normally just gamble that I'm smart because that doesn't ever pay off well for me. So at this point, I would do something like, all right, just to make sure that I got it right, I'm going to do echo first, echo second, and I'm going to save this file. Oop. Save that file, chmod plus X, so I can execute it. And now if we execute it, ideally it's going to print 10 and then whatever the second one, 155. See, I screwed up. Let's see. Unexpected end of file while looking for matching. Oh, maybe did somebody see? Somebody probably already said that. And maybe that is what somebody was already talking about. Let's look what I did. Oh, yeah, I just didn't close it up here. Oh, wait, net. That's what you're talking. Oh, net. I thought you were talking down here. Dang it. Okay. Kudos. Everybody give Anthony a big round of applause because, yes, he saw what I screwed up and I didn't even know what he was talking about. I was looking down in the next variable declarations. Yes, you are absolutely right. I was a bonehead and I missed that one. So put that there. Thank you, Anthony, who gets all the credit. Good job. So here we go. Let's try this again. Oh, dear. This is the point of the podcast where Sean's like, maybe I shouldn't be in charge. All right, what did I do? Net equals that. All right. So yes. Okay, so that's all good. That should be right. Print. If anybody sees what I screwed up, let me know. First equals that. One number. Right here. So what did I do right here? $sign. Open it up. Crep die. I. All right. I know it's something stupid because this is not a difficult script. So I'm just going to comment all this out. Why isn't this color coded right either? I bet. Oh, I got it. Did you guys get it yet? Did you get it? I know what I did. Here, I don't even need to do this anymore. I'm going to clean this up. You probably got it. You're probably like, duh. Okay, so grep minus I out of what? Out of what? What did I grep? Grep was waiting for the input. So, yeah. The name of the file is report.csv. Boom. That's what I did wrong. 10 and 155. Boom. All right. Anyway, hopefully that makes sense what I screwed up. I just didn't tell it what to grep out of. And so grep was like, okay, I'm going to grep whenever you give me something to grep. Grep pants. All right. Anyway, so that means that I got the first and second iteration correct. Let's go back in. Gosh. Everybody. Oh, look at all the unsubscribes. Just kidding. Let's get rid of that. So we have the first and second octet. Now I'm just going to do nested for loops. It's probably the simplest and least elegant way, but I'm going to just go, so for x in, we'll do 0 to 255, do, and what we're going to do there is a nested for loop for y in 0 to 255, do, and now, so we could just ping, but the problem is, well, there's a bunch of problems, right? But we're going to try to do the simple and least elegant way. So first, I'm just going to say, let's, okay, we're going to ping. -C means C is how many packets to ping. So we're just going to do one ping. Otherwise, ping runs forever on Linux. So just one. And then I want it to time out after 1 second. 1 second is the lowest number you can have ping timeout. And if you did the math in your head, you can already see why this is going to be a really long, or why there's a big problem here. But anyway, we'll do that. And then first dot second dot x dot y. Okay, so what we have done here is it's going to ping every one of those IP addresses as it iterates through. First, it's going to start and it's going to go with 0, and then it's going to go 10.155.0. And then it's going to go through this whole range. So .0, .1, .2, .3, .4, and go through each and every one of those. But I don't want it to put all the ping stuff on the screen, because not only is this going to be inelegant, that's going to be really, really difficult to even see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to redirect the output of this into dev null, and then I'm going to put 2, which is the standard error, into a standard output. If you've seen my other videos, hopefully that makes sense. Basically, it's not going to give us any output, but it's still going to execute. And why would I do that if I didn't see the output? Because what I want to do is say if, hopefully this makes sense to somebody. I want to say if the exit code, everybody's going to have to like go look at my Linux Essentials course if this is like confusing, is equal to 0, meaning that if that ping completed and it was successful and it got a reply, then what I want you to do is echo first dot second dot x dot y is alive. All right, that's what I want you to do. Do fi to close off that if, and let's see. That should do it. So what that should give us is we won't get any response unless the IP address is alive. Hopefully that makes sense. But now I do need to type done and done to close out those two for loops. And I think that is about it. So I'm going to stretch this out so it doesn't word wrap. Really quick, going to go over what we did. So we have this, X is going from 0 to 255, Y is going from 0 to 255. We're going to send a single ping request that times out after 1 second to 10.155, because we got those from the CSV file, and then it's going to iterate through all 64,000 options, and it's going to give us no output because we've redirected the output into dev null. But the exit code, we're going to decide like if it was successful based on the exit code after the ping statement is done. If it was positive, if it got a positive result, then it's going to say that IP address is alive. All right. Hopefully everybody is following along. I'm going to save this. I'm going to clear the screen. Drum roll. So let's see if it's going to work. Now, here's a secret. I do have one IP address in that range pretty early on that is alive, I hope. Aha, there we go. All right. So you may notice that that is the fourth IP address in there. And it takes 1 second per ping. And let's do the math. So there's 256 of the last 2 octets. So 256 times 256. I don't know what that is about 64,000, I think. If we divide that by 60 to get how many minutes, and then that by 60 to get how many minutes, I don't remember the exact number, but it's over 18 hours. So I don't want to sit here in this live stream for over 18 hours. I don't know about you. So I'm going to stop this, and we may have an issue. Yeah, sometimes when you have nested for loops, it's really difficult to quit. So I'm going to put it in the background. I'm going to p-kill. Awesome. Yeah, okay, terminate it. So I guess that is the answer to the weekend assignment. I'll look at it again. Look at it again. This would be like the inelegant but pretty simple solution to ping through that entire range of IP addresses, and it would even give us like that it's alive. But it's pretty crappy, right? It's 18 hours to see what IP addresses are alive. So we could do something like get crafty and say, okay, what could I maybe spin up ping? Like every iteration of ping could be spun up inside a subshell, so it can spin that up while it's waiting the 1 second for the reply. And that could be a way to go about it. Now, we would run into an issue of spinning up 64,000 ping commands, and the server would get overtaxed pretty quickly. So that isn't necessarily the ideal way to go about it. But in this case, I think that using a different tool other than ping is probably the best way. And does anybody have any ideas? Like what tools could we use to ping scan like an entire subnet like that? Anybody have any recommendations? I can think of 2 myself. So I'm going to close this because we'll use them. We'll use the one anyway that I was thinking of. It's okay if you don't have any thoughts. Nmap, yeah. So Nmap, put you on the screen there again. Yeah, Nmap. Everybody is a big fan of Nmap, and that is usually the one I would go to, except that recently I was setting up, well, actually it was a latency detector using something called Smoke Ping, and Smoke Ping uses a bunch of different tools to test like for latency and stuff. Anyway, because of that, the tool fping was on my mind. And so has anybody ever heard of fping? Fping is a neat tool. I just installed it. Yeah, fping. Anthony agrees. And fping is almost shamefully simple in that this is how we would do it with fping. We'd still have to get the 10 and the 155. We'd have to use like grep and awk to get that. But fping, you have to spell it right. Fping, and I want -A will only show us the IP addresses that are alive. Q is going to be quiet, and it won't tell us when it can't like if something doesn't respond, I don't want it to tell me, right? I don't want my screen flooded with 64,000 no responses. So I want it to show me the ones that are alive, not show me all the unresponsive things. And then -Q allows it to build a list of IP addresses. And so if I use -Q, I can say 10.155.0.0/16, like that number we got directly out of that CSV file. And what this is going to, okay, what did I do? Q, not Q, dang it. It's G. I'll fix it in post edit, he says on a live stream. -G will allow you to build it. If you don't build it, you can pass it a file name full of IP addresses that you want it to ping through, but -G will build it based on the subnet that you supplied. So anyway, pretend I didn't make that stupid mistake. I put Q twice. And what this does, it will do the same thing, but much, much, much quicker, because fping will basically just blanket the network with pings, not waiting for a reply. It doesn't wait for a reply before it sends the next one in its list. And I actually did fping earlier because I knew it was going to be a more efficient way to go through it in like a huge range like this. And I did the math because I'm a nerd. It turns out that to do all 64,000 of these, it's going to take just under an hour. And while that's still a really, really long time, to actively search for a response from that many IP addresses is pretty stinking huge. So fping is definitely more efficient, on the order of 18 times more efficient. And nmap, I think, still iterates one at a time. I don't have nmap nomenclature on the tip of my tongue, although apparently I don't have the fping one either. So anyway, that's what I would actually do. If I were actually tasked with something like this, I'd probably use fping. But anyway, yeah, that's what I would do. I'm gonna go back to Facecam here and move the chat window up. Anyway, yeah. Anybody else do anything completely different, or was nested for loops pretty much what people went with? Oh, I'm sorry, Mason. I gave everybody the lottery numbers for this week too. Oh man, no, just kidding. It will be there. I mean, it's going to be posted afterwards. So I mean, if you really want to watch me mess up several times, you have that ability to go back. Anywho, I guess that's it. I guess that's it. Do you guys like the idea of a weekend assignment? It was fun. I'll try to actually put a little more thought into it as well. If we do it again, I can put it out on Friday and then we can just go over it on Sunday. And yeah, so class is over now. Let's just have fun talking. Looks like Lewis did a tour motorbike ride with my wife, testing out a bigger ride later this month. Also, so like, were you both on the same motorcycle or motorbike, or was this like a side by side or you know, ducks in a line kind of thing? I'm curious. I'll have to wait, because I actually really do want to know if this was a 2-on-1 bike or 2 bikes on 1 road kind of thing. So I'll find out. I'll make sure to pin the comment when he replies. Let's see. Okay, I will keep doing the weekend assignment. It's fun for me. I won't make them too hard. You know, as you're doing it, remember who I am, right? I don't necessarily care about the most elegant solution. Generally, I just go for, you know, get the job done. So yeah, I don't even know what next week's is going to be. It'll probably continue to be based on stuff we learned during the week. And hopefully I also don't wait until Friday to post a video this week, but I don't expect to have any more grandbabies. So, yeah, I will get that out hopefully early Friday so that we can go over it on Sunday. She rides behind. Oh, cool. So 1 bike, one bike. So motorbike, motorcycle, are we talking about the same things? Is this like so here in the US, we have like a motorcycle, we have like scooters, we have, I guess that's about it. I don't know. I'm assuming when you say motorbike, you mean what I would think of as a motorcycle here. I mean, motorbike generally here is like, like the trickster ones, you know, like go and do the ramps and the jumps and stuff. In the US, if we say motorbike, that's generally what we're talking about. And that might just be regional. That might just be me here in Michigan. And then motorcycle would be like the get your motor running, you know, on the highway kind of motorbikes. Anyway, motorbike is what we call motorcycles in the, okay. All right, cool. Then yes, that's awesome. Maxi scooter. Oh no, Lewis made it more confusing for me now. So it's a maxi scooter. I'll probably just have to Google what that is. Anyway, Mason said, where do I post them on Friday? So, Mason, are you, I thought I saw you on the Discord. Are you on the Discord? I'll post a link again to the Discord in the chat right now. Snarko Discord. So, there is a channel on the Nerdling Discord called Weekend Assignments with a whopping one post that I did put up there with a link to it. So that's where I put them now. I don't know. I should probably put them in multiple places. Maybe I'll try to remember to also post the weekend assignment on the community page, the community page of the YouTube channel. I'll try to do that as well. Post them multiple places, but and then we can, I mean, if you have questions or something, you know, there's going to be comments there or on the Discord as well. But that's where I put it this time. Yeah, I'll try to do it on Fridays. That'll be my goal. Would FPing set off alerts to your security theme? You know what? I don't know that. I'm trying to think. It uses standard ICMP. I think the answer to that depends on what range you're pinging, because if you're and what level of monitoring they have, because if you're pinging on your local subnet, like and you're not trying to ping through a router to like another subnet, it's possible that the security software wouldn't notice it. But if it's a smart switch and they're monitoring for ICMP traffic internally to look for suspicious stuff, I mean, it's possible. But if you're doing it internally, what you'd be doing is not necessarily creepy. Like I know what you're talking about, right? When you use Nmap, and like if you're port scanning, I mean, port scanning is just rude anyway. If you're port scanning through your router or like from an external address or something, it'll probably get flagged. If you're using fping internally, it's looking for computers that will reply via ICMP. So probably not. But if you send out 64,000 pings with fping, something might notice it on the network. So I don't want to say, oh, no, this is perfectly safe. You'll never get in trouble for that, because you might. But, you know, just say it was Sean's fault. You know, that dude with green hair? He told me to like run fping on my local server. And he told me to, try to get the login from the secretary. And he told me that it was a good idea to take videos of people as I log in and record their finger strokes on their keyboard. No, don't say that, because I don't want to get arrested. But it's not a high level security thing, but it could be noticed, especially if you do huge amounts. Let's see what else. Oh, this is okay. All right. Trying to see. All right, cool. I'm going to show everybody, because that's the kind of Sean I am. All right. This is Lewis's motorcycle. That's not Lewis. Don't let him fool you. That's like a model. But that is his motorcycle, or his motorbike. Very cool. Very, very cool. If it's ICMP, it's usually ignored. Possibly, yes. If it's just one ping, it's unlikely. Yeah. Edward makes a good point. If it is 64,000 pings, though, you might just get it. Just wondering if this would be used to pivot in the network. You know what? You may have just used a term that my rusty old brain is not keen on what you mean by that. Used to pivot on the network. I'm not sure what you mean there, Chuck. I'm so sorry. That's what we call a scooter in the UK. I would think that's what we call a scooter here in the US too. But of course, here in the US, like, I mean, I'm also annoyed by really large motorcycles. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but I was just at the coffee shop today to get some coffee to bring to my wife who works at a bookstore, and a motorcycle went by. My mouth's getting dry. And it was so loud. And I get the arguments like motorcycles are loud so that people see them, but oh my goodness, it's just so incredibly loud that it drives me nuts. Anyway, used to use reconnaissance. Yeah, that's true. You can actually, you can just have your servers not respond to pings, which is an annoyance of mine. I've worked with a lot of people over the years, and there are people who really are fond of disabling ICMP on routers, especially, and I really dislike that practice because their mentality is if it doesn't, it's to protect from like scans and stuff. But ICMP is a useful part of TCP/IP or of networking, right? I mean, it's useful. ICMP is designed for a purpose, and I like that purpose, and I like to be able to use it properly. Anyway, yeah, and that's the things. The security through obscurity can only get you so far. The other thing that I'm not a huge fan of is blocking port 80. I would rather just force port 80 to redirect to port 443. But now we're getting into Sean's opinions on the world and get off my lawn kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah. Somebody asked about the green hair. I did talk about it last week. If you look at last week's live stream, I think they're all live. Are they still? I hope they're listed. Like when this is done, I think it just goes on the YouTube channel under live streams of the past. The short version is my youngest daughter was given a really hard time because she dyed her hair and she was treated poorly by school administration. She's an adult. She was a volunteer. Well, she wasn't a student at this point. And I didn't like that. I felt like she was getting bullied by people who should know better. And so I dyed my hair green in solidarity. And the secret is I actually really like my hair being dyed goofy colors. So it's probably going to be a long-standing thing. But anyway, that's the reason it started. Okay, Scott says that they are. So thank you. Yeah, I'm glad they're there. In fact, I was hoping because what I do is after we're done, I can go in and like trim out the first few minutes where it's just like that silly like lead up countdown stuff. I try to trim that out so that if somebody clicks time to play, they don't have to like scroll through the first like 10 minutes or whatever. So anyway, the streams stay up. Yeah, good. Since this model is 250 cc's, it requires a motorcycle driver's license here in Portugal. You can drive a 125 with a car license. Interesting. I'm not sure where the cutoff here. I don't know that there is a cutoff. Wow, now I'm a little curious because if it's a street motorcycle, like not a dirt bike and not a scooter. I'm not sure what the difference, like the legal difference between a scooter and a motorcycle here is in the US, because to drive a motorcycle, I think of any size, even like a 125, if it's like a street motorcycle, you have to have a motorcycle license to do that. I do not have a motorcycle license. I am too clumsy. I can't drive a motor. I'm clumsy, and I have no sense of safety when it comes to like extreme things. Like, for example, it drives my wife crazy, but has anybody on the stream right now ever jumped out of an airplane, like parachuted out? I don't just mean jump out without a parachute, but have you ever gone skydiving? I couldn't think of the word. So a lot of people, like my wife and most people in my life, were like, "Oh, I don't know if I would skydive. That seems too scary," which is weird for me because I would absolutely skydive. I mean, no hesitation. And so I do a lot of really dumb things. I broke my back when I was in high school on a four-wheeler. Four-wheeler is regional. We call four-wheelers, what does everybody else call them? Like ATVs or quad runners or basically those like a dirt bike with four wheels. I don't know what people call them around the world, much less around my own country here. But yeah, I broke my back and I've injured myself horribly in snowmobiles. Anyway. Oh, okay. Yeah. So it is all about CCs, and maybe it is here in the US too. Maybe scooters just have a smaller CC. Interestingly, Lewis, you'll appreciate this. They do actually go by CC here, cubic centimeters instead of cubic inches. I've only ever heard motorcycles referred to as cubic centimeters, which is just a weird thing for the US, but nonetheless. Was a plane on fire? I wouldn't do, so okay, this is, I assume, Mason, I assume you're talking about jumping out of a plane. That is so interesting for me because truly, I no hesitation. I would absolutely, I mean, yes, it would be with a parachute. And I would want to have, a lesson on how to do it. I mean, I wouldn't just be like, all right, I'll figure it out on the way down. Har, har, har. But yeah, I would absolutely love to do that. And like those, like bungee jumping, if it was a reputable place, I would absolutely do it. So anyway, quad bike. Okay. Yeah, I think they're called a lot of things all over. But here in Northern Michigan, and I'm pretty sure it is pretty specific to Michigan, four-wheelers is what they're referred to as. Those small, individual single user things are called like a four-wheeler, oddly enough. Oh, I think it's when we started a ride or two-wheeler motorcycle by the age of 40. Oh, yeah. See, that's probably wisdom there. I would skydive. Yeah, if someone pays for it. Yeah, and it's expensive, and I would want to spend money more wisely right now. But I would do it. And so this is something too, in tandem, right? I get that because it's safer and you want somebody who's a professional. It almost bums me out that that's right here in the US, that's the only option you have. And if you want to skydive single, you have to like go through lots of classes and do lots of tandem jumps and like pass certifications of some sort. And you don't just get to strap on a parachute and, rip the cord on the way down. I would like that. That'd be fun. That'd be cool. Anyway, that's just me. This is the reason that I don't have a motorcycle. I always found quad bike to be an odd name. Quad bike. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, Edward. Yeah. It's like a 4-2-wheel. Like that is a strange sort of thing. Less than years of my life. Now, okay, that's fair. If you're afraid of heights, I could see how that would be like a super difficult challenge. Like for example, I'm terrified of bees. I have no desire to like go hornet nest boxing or anything. if I had a real phobia of it, I wouldn't want to, but I don't. I'm not afraid of heights, so I would absolutely do that. Same here. Tandem is the only option for civilians. Yeah. And like I said, I think, in fact, I'm sure that you can get trained and get certified because the people that are on the other side of the tandem thing are just, regular old people who really like to skydive. So yeah, there is an option, but not right off the bat. It's not like a touristy thing where you can go and solo dive. You can only be a tourist and tandem dive. So what else is going on in the life of Sean here? So my office is no different from last Sunday, and it's because of the baby. That I'm blaming my daughter having a baby. It's just our week has been chaos because of that. So maybe next week, I'll try to make a note that by next week I can give everybody a walking tour of the office. Like I have the setups, right? This is a GoPro on like a really cool like power and HDMI cord that I can like take all over. So I will make it my goal, not a promise, but a goal, next Sunday to give everybody a tour of the office. If I did so now, you'd probably call the police because this doesn't seem safe or healthy for a human to have an office this messy. But my life in frame is decent. Oh, if I lean, I guess you see there's some junk on my couch or my chair back there. Anyway, let's see. What does my wife think about skydiving? My wife is very wonderful, and she doesn't want to skydive, but I think partially because tandem is the only option. think she'd be fine with it. In fact, I know she would. She said, you know, if, I mean, because my brother and I were going to, and that just never really happened. But she'd be fine with it only because I think it's tandem only. Let's see. This is why I became a Muslim, because I just couldn't believe this. It's faith. Sorry. Yeah, that's faith. Oh, yeah. It's no. We're so part of the part of the nerdling vibe is kindness. So no, you're not going to be you're not going to be looked down on for any faith you have, unless your faith is meanness. Like if you have a religion of of puppy kicking, you know, that's going to be frowned on. But let's see, is that an original NES in the background? It is, in fact. Not only is it an original NES. Okay, I'm going to go get the thing out because it's so cool. Hold on. No, I lied. Well, now I'm a little worried. I don't know where it went. So right now in there is Duck Hunt, but that's not what I thought. I have Crix. Is everybody familiar with Crix? K-R-I or Kriz? I think it's Krikzz. I think .com. Anyway, they make they're cartridges that you load ROMs into with like a micro SD card, and it plays ROMs, like ROM files that you illegitimately get from the internet, and it plays it on the original hardware. It's just incredibly awesome. As soon as you boot it up, you get a menu, you select which ROM you want to load, and then it loads it right in, and the console itself has no idea that it's not the original game cartridge inserted. It is just the coolest thing ever. I have one of those for the Sega Genesis, which you can't really see, but it's right there. And I have one for Nintendo 64, which is down there somewhere. And I have one for the NES. And I don't have one for the Super Nintendo because I don't have a Super Nintendo, an original one. I do have the Super Nintendo Mini. And you can load all the ROMs you want on that as well. The reason that I went with the original hardware NES instead of just putting extra ROMs on the NES Mini, like, you know, those little releases that they had, is because I want to play Duck Hunt. And you can't play Duck Hunt unless you have an original one with a light zapper gun and a CRT television. Anyway, that's going in the weeds a bit, but let's see. The largest drive later in the month will be, whoa, 1,000-kilometer drive. That is long. Do you have a trailer, Lewis? I'm a little curious. How are you? Are you like staying at hotels? Are you going to be staying in a trailer? Are you just going to drive straight through all 3 days? Curious how that's going to go. Do you have a blow in the cartridges to make it work? Yeah, Scott, I've been there. I'm an old guy too. No. Sadly, these days now, I would just buy the new thing, you know, the internal part that you can buy a refurbished one of those where the pins are tight and not corroded. But had not heard. I assume you're talking about the Crix cartridges. Yeah, they're super incredible. Yeah. So you very much do not get the ROMs from the Crix company, from the Crix guy who makes them, because yeah, he would be in a lot of trouble. Although, I'm sorry, Nigel. You want to see my cat, Nigel? So this is Nigel. I accidentally just kicked him. He's not happy with me. Anyway, yeah, no, you have to get the ROMs off the internet, but the thing is, they're like on archive.org now. Like there's you can get like ROMs from systems like legit. I don't know if it doesn't seem like it could possibly be legitimate, but archive.org, you can get all the ROMs you want. It's weird. I got mine in other ways over the years, but anyway, Duck Hunt. I love Duck Hunt too. I mean, that dog, I think everybody shoots that dog when he pops up when you miss. Nothing happens, but you feel a little bit better about yourself. 2 nights in hotels. Okay, that makes sense. Still, that'll be a fun drive though. That's cool. And when is that? You probably told me. Sorry. I don't remember. Just curious. Oh, yes, the cat. So he's Nigel is one. We have two cats. We have Nigel. Oh, his full name is Sir Nigel Murray. And then we have Larry. His full name is Larry Bird. And they're both Maine Coon cats. And they're really big. But, pick them back up. So Nigel is enormous. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you can tell in the video here, but he's a really, really big cat. And he's this majestic, it's called black smoke. And he's a slob. So he kept getting mats all over. Like his belly would get matted, his armpit area would get really matted bad. And we felt like bad cat parents. And so when he was at the vet, we actually said to the vet, like, are we doing something wrong? I mean, is it like food? Does he have a skin condition? Why does he keep getting so matted? We feel so bad. And the vet, it was hilarious. The vet's like, he's a slob. Nigel's just a slob that won't clean himself. So he's just a lazy cat who won't clean himself. And so we end up usually about twice a year, we have to completely shave him. And he doesn't like the process, like usually my wife and I will do it in stages. We'll like hold him and we'll shave part of him. And it usually takes like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 10 sessions before we get him completely shaved down. And he hates the process, but after he's shaved, he loves being shaved. He loves being shaved. He doesn't like getting shaved, if that makes sense, because, there's no more mats pulling on him and stuff. Anyway, I did not expect to be talking about shaving cats today, but if I had to title this video, it would be shaving cats. Yeah, that is what it is. Mason, yeah, duck hunt's my childhood too. So how old am I now? I'm 47. Yes, I'm 47, born in 75, had a birthday in July. And we didn't have money when I was growing up, but when I was in high school, I bought my first Nintendo, and it had been out. I mean, somebody was getting rid of their old Nintendo because they had a Super Nintendo at that point. But it was my first Nintendo of any kind, and I bought it in high school. It was the coolest thing ever. And yeah, that's the one that I have the most fond memories of. I never did have a Super Nintendo. Just couldn't afford it, and then they were still expensive, and then I turned into an adult and had kids and stuff. But I played Super Nintendo at my friend's house quite a bit. I almost said his name, and he's a very private person. He would be upset with me if I said his name, but we would play Super Nintendo at his house. He would come to my house and play Nintendo. But yeah, that's my childhood, Nintendo and Super Nintendo. So anyway, Lewis, 24th, 26th September. Have a great time. Take lots of pictures. If you don't follow Lewis online, you should. He posts really great pictures. In fact, one of his days at the beach was the background image of my comic one day. It was a couple Saturdays ago, my comic, My Big Round World. And I used a picture that Lewis gave me permission before I used it, was the backdrop of one of my comics. So yeah. Chuck learned so much today. I'm glad. Yeah, I like the weekend assignment things, and I'll try to come up with something that's silly, but also useful. Honestly, I solved so many problems on the command line with a combination of grep and awk and piping that it's going to be difficult not to just use those solutions for just about every problem. So anyway, yeah. But I will try to keep doing the weekend assignments and come up with stuff. I'll think in advance. I'll post it on Friday, but I'll try to think as the week goes on and make it fitting for whatever training we're doing that week as well. Like, what are we doing? I think we're doing, do I still have it open? No, I don't have it open. I think we're going to look at Pico and Vim and VI and Pico. I think those are the next video. It's part of the same 1.2 section, but we're going to look at stuff. Because, I mean, you obviously see me, I use VI or actually Vim, but I recommend most people use Nano. I'm sorry, did I say Pico? I meant Nano. Nano is the new open source version of Pico, which I thought was open source, but maybe it wasn't. Anyway, Nano, not Pico. Sorry for confusing people there with my old brain. Oh my goodness, it's time already. There are bladed combs for unmatting cats. So yes, here's the thing. I mean, you can imagine, right? I mean, probably most of us here are really big gadget people, and I have so many dematting combs and we've tried so many things. Like some of them have like long, slightly serrated things, like to get them out. Some of them are short and like little like things. We just can't ever make it work. We end up just shaving him right down. And like I said, he likes it a lot after the fact. He doesn't care for the process, although he likes the process of being shaven more than the process of when we try to use the unmatting comb things, because we didn't want him to be a shaved cat, right? I mean, he's a majestic beast. He looks amazing, and we wanted him to look furry, but we just can't figure that out. So anyway, do you need to know Vim for the exam? So it's listed. This week when I show Vim and Nano, I will show you what you would need if you are required to use Vim for the exam. And I took the original exam. I don't remember if I had to actually use VI, and that's the sad thing. I wouldn't remember because that's what I use by default. But I'm going to show just the basics so you can use it. I mean, you know, when people use VI for the first time, they can't even get out, right? I mean, how do you exit? It's not clear how to exit. And so it's basically that's what you would need to know. I think for the exam, the most you would need is to know, you know, that there's, I don't remember I'll look up the mode names for the video, but it's like, you know, command mode and execute mode, command and edit mode, maybe it's command mode and edit mode. Basically, you know, where you press escape or you press like I or A for insert or append, where you actually input text. So you'll just need to know the basic stuff, and you'll need to know, you know, when you're in command mode, :WQ or :Q exclamation point, things like that. I'll go over it in the video. It's you don't have to be a Vim pro in order to succeed in Linux or pass the test for sure. But it's nice to know a couple things, because sometimes you are on a system, especially like an older system or an embedded system, and there won't be Nano. Now that's less and less the case these days, but sometimes you'll find VI is the only option. So it's nice to be able to, at least in a pinch, use VI. Anyway, and I'm after the fact a lot. Vim Adventures. I don't know what that is. I might have to. So I'll look that up, Edward, and maybe I'll mention it in the video this week too, because I don't even know what that is, but I'll look it up and probably include it if it's awesome. And it helped you, so it must be. Anyway, I could just chat for hours, but I'm not gonna keep everybody. And I know it's 10 o'clock or it's 11 o'clock for somebody. I don't remember who it was that was far away. But anyway, have a great rest of the day. I don't plan on having any more grandbabies this week. So we'll get back to in the swing of things. And I guess I should quit with saying, learn everything, do what you love. And most importantly, be kind. Join the Discord if you haven't. I will try to post things there and updates there and that sort of a thing. And if nothing else, I'll see you next Sunday. If you're into this, I plan on doing it every Sunday. So see you next week. Have a good one. And stay tuned for that awkward thing where I try to remember how to stop the stream. So, all right. Bye, everybody. Bye. Goodbye. So long. Bye.